Hey, it's SLVRDLLR. I'm back with Life of Pixel. This is part 2 of my Life of Pixel Let's Play series. So just doing a quick look at the game, and I'm showing you the first level of each console that they have. So in this batch of consoles, this is the sort of second half of it, and it's all the Nintendo ones. So we're starting out with Game Boy, and you'll see that they did a pretty good job of reproducing the look and color of the original Game Boy. So for anyone who had that big old gray brick of a Game Boy, they will definitely remember this color. The one that came with, I think every single person in the world probably had Tetris at that point, and then there was also that weird Super Mario game that was fun, but just seemed a little bit odd from the rest of them. So yeah, now we're moving on to the NES. Nintendo Entertainment System, 1983. Wow. It is going back there. And it's amazing how long that thing stuck around for. Production didn't stop till 1995, which I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the other consoles, but I feel like 12 years of production on a single console, it would be, I don't know, probably pretty unheard of now. I guess maybe the PlayStations, they kicked around for a really long time, but I feel like other consoles don't have that sort of life anymore. So everyone knows the NES, and they do a pretty good job here of reproducing the colors. This sort of feels to me a little bit like a Mega Man style, I guess. And the audio for sure has that sort of similar sound. This is the first level where I saw these objects, like the spring objects and stuff you could push around, so it made the gameplay a little bit more interesting. Also on these levels, you'll see in the bottom left there, it says 10 of 23. So these are a lot longer than the earlier consoles, which only had about 8 of those little diamonds you had to pick up. But you still only have, I think, the 2 lives. So it's, definitely quite a bit harder, I guess, just due to the, the length of the level and the number of times that you can actually mess up. So one thing that took me a little bit to figure out, I think the little helper guy tells you, but I wasn't paying attention to him that much. So you can kind of hit down and move your screen around a little bit. I'm not even sure if I'm doing it properly, so you might be able to look over the whole level. I'm not sure, but it helps you look out for traps. Alright, SNES, the SNES, launched in 1990. I think they used to call it, I think it was the Famicom in Japan when it came out. The Forest of Zelda. What does that sound like? Yeah, this is a great console. I was not a Nintendo person, though, myself, personally. I had sort of the other stream of consoles, I guess. My first console was the TurboGrafx 16, which unfortunately is not featured in this game. This is a request to the developers. Put in some TurboGrafx, please. That wasn't a very popular console though, so it didn't get a whole lot of play, but it came out when the NES came out, and it was 16-bit, so it was a little bit advanced. And then when the SNES came out, I had a Sega Genesis, so I never really got to experience this until much later when I started playing, SNES on emulator, or just, if we'd find one in a cottage or something. But great system, amazing platformers, obviously. They got the graphics down, and now the controls in the game, actually feel, I think they actually feel probably pretty close to what the SNES feeling would be like. Alright, on to the final console of the game, the Amiga 500. So 1987. I feel like this one's out of order. I feel like it should go before the SNES. I'm not sure why they put it here. Anyways, yeah, it's interesting. Paranoid 90. Paranoid. I think that was a game known for what they call bas relief. I'm probably saying it wrong. Bas relief, bas relief. And it's where you use 3 different colors to simulate a like a 3D texture. So it looks like there's depth, but you know, it's just a 2D game. So I mean, games really, you know, really ran with this style later on, especially on Sega. But it's kind of a cool style, and definitely, like, yeah, the artwork in here definitely feels, to me, this feels a little bit more like Sega style. This level was another really tricky one. 39 of those little diamonds. So it was, yeah, really hard. The jumps started getting tricky. The little minions started shooting at me. And this was the first level of the Amigas. So presumably they got a lot harder as well. So it's pretty, yeah, it was definitely challenging. I prefer sort of the shorter levels, but I think, you know, you definitely kind of work your way up to this length of a level. And, you know, it'd be harder to do speed runs on these ones, but probably more rewarding, I think, due to the difficulty of it. You know, the 5-second level at the beginning there probably gets old pretty quick. That one, I thought I found a secret up at the top there. Here's another example of being able to push objects around. You'll see a lot of the minions. I think this is, you know, it is true to the era of the game, but the minions don't have a lot of intelligence, I guess I'd say. They're stupid. The minions are kind of dumb. They follow very linear paths, and you know, you can just tell where they're going. Except for the few that shoot you. Those are more unpredictable. And some, I think, follow you a little bit, but you know, see that guy just back and forth. So yeah, you know where he's going. So hopefully I know they want to stay true to the system, so, but I think maybe that's one thing they can kind of play around with. But if you're doing speed runs, it definitely helps that they don't chase you or anything. So that's probably good for now. Those spikes, oh, those would kill me so many times. I chopped out all my deaths, but you can kind of get an idea of how long I've been playing for. I think it gives you a total time maybe on the end screens. But this level definitely took a number of tries for sure. And I think some earlier levels took a lot. So yeah, check this out on Steam, getting greenlit, give it some thumbs up, and thanks for watching. SLVRDLLR.